Hello and welcome. I'm Ben the Best 5 and you're watching the 6th video in my ISS recreation video in Kerbal Space Program. Now if you're watching this far, then my ISS replica is nearly finished, full of tons of bugs because KSP is a wonderful, not buggy game at all. And yes. So here you can see me launching the Poisk module upon a nice little Soyuz rocket replica here, and I'm in fact launching it on with a modified version of the Progress vehicle, just simply because well, that's how it was done in reality. That variant deployed nice and cleanly, unlike the time I tried to launch Pierce with this exact same rocket, because believe it or not, Pierce and Poisk are two Russian mini modules slash mini research modules, as well as docking ports, and they can also function as a airlock, and the two of them are basically identical. So as a result, I am in fact relaunching the exact thing again, except this time I think I did a bit of a better job of it, you know. So anyway, I'm inserting myself into orbit, and yes, this footage is sped up by 2 times. Also, I have had this question asked a few times in the comments before. My videos are purely stock. They have absolutely no mods involved. Everything you see on screen was built using only what comes with Kerbal Space Program without any mods installed. This includes visuals, and this includes all the parts. And it's using KSP 1.10.1. And here we are docking the Poisk module, the upper side of the ISS. This is what it kind of looked like in real life. If you know, camera over here. But yeah. Also, a side note, my solar panels have in fact gone wobbly again. This is an issue I do not know how to mitigate. I think it's actually just an artifact of the fact that the ISS is so incredibly massive and is thousands of parts big, and I in fact did assemble it in orbit using docking ports to make a cool, nice big long cinematic YouTube series. But as perhaps a side effect of that, whenever I load in the save file, it loads with parts which are particularly small and bug prone. For example, the solar panels, which are held together by the very, very buggy robotic parts, they whenever I loaded in, for some reason they're just all over the place in random orientations, and well, not random, it's not that bad, but it's only some of them, but yeah, the little tiny segments just appear at an offset of just a weird offset, as you can see here, especially that one on the left side towards the end, and at the bottom it's at a funny angle. Anyway, here's me launching the Tranquility and copula together. Now, in real life, the Tranquility and copula weren't actually launched together. However, the copula was in fact attached to the end of the Tranquility module as it went up, and then was rearranged after Tranquility was docked. However, this will not be done in this particular rendition, just simply because in order to do the rearrangements necessary, I would either need a robotic arm, which is just a no-no given the current state of Kerbal robotics, or I could have given it a guidance wheel and a docking port and all that stuff, and it would have needed a docking port even if they were attached the way that they were in the original, and given the way the copula actually has to be set into the side of Tranquility, that's not actually feasibly possible. So as a result of this, I in fact sent them up pre-organized, as you can see here, and we are in fact circling. I do like watching that I guess you could say uncontrolled missile shoot backwards, just because it's pretty cool seeing it happen, And now we are docking the module. Now it might look like I'm docking it upside down. That is just simply because, well, my ISS is kind of upside down, kind of not upside down. Well, it basically faces every direction, just simply because I can't, and we're behind the Earth. Behind Kerbin now, just simply because we can't actually rotate it without it, without it shaking up and trying to crack in itself, for lack of a better term, to death. Which is why I'm in fact not rotating the ISS itself, and I'm doing all the maneuvering with the modules themselves as they dock, which is making the process ever more complicated, given that I am getting about 3 seconds per every frame. That's right, that's not 3 frames per second, that's 3 seconds per frame. The footage which you are seeing here is sped up by like 32 times just to get at a reasonable playback speed, because that's what this stage is about. 1,700 parts can do to my computer, because it's a pretty nice PC. It can run Kerbal Space Program at a decent speed, but it's not. I mean, for its time, it was top of the line, but now it's a bit older, so it's not quite top of the line, which means we can't run 3,000 part vessels. We can only go up to 1,900 parts. Anyway, about that, I am currently launching the Rassvet module, which is quite frankly the coolest module's name to say. Yes, Rassvet itself, it kind of operates like a larger version of Poisk or Piers, in that it can operate as an airlock or as a docking port. However, its main function is actually mostly storage. However, since there was no Russian orbital laboratory ever launched either, although the Russian orbital laboratory has been built, in fact it was finished almost like 10 years ago. However, it's currently just sitting in a warehouse somewhere in Russia, unlaunched, because they just haven't felt like launching it yet. So, Rassvet can theoretically function as a scientific small laboratory. And you might have noticed here that I'm launching it on an Atlas V soft replica. That's because the real Rassvet was in fact, although it was built by the Russians and was docked to the Russian orbital section, it was in fact not launched on a Russian rocket. It was in fact launched by an American space shuttle. And it is in fact the second last module to ever be launched by space shuttle, as also the third last module to ever be launched by to the ISS. Now there is one more video in this series where I'll be launching the last 2 modules to the ISS, which is the beam, which was launched aboard a Falcon 9, on a an uncrewed Dragon, and it's basically, in a sense, it was basically just a big balloon. They docked it to the outside of the ISS, completely deflated and in small version, and then they inflate it full of air, and so that's coming in the next one, as well as the Leonardo module, which was also the resupply vehicle used for the space shuttles, and yeah, it's going to be done in the last video. And I'm also probably going to send up a few more Soyuzes and send a Soyuz back, just because that's pretty cool, because my Soyuz actually has all the right landing stuff on board, so might as well do that and bring it up to date with the actual real ISS as it stands today. Anyway, here we can see some footage of the ISS moving around Kerbin, and you can see all the modules I placed in their beautiful, beautiful glory at the aft section of the station. Now this is a great time to look at some footage, but also consider being nice to me, the creator who had to make all this stuff, and deal with the low frame rates. So support me well, you've already supported me as a creator by simply watching content supports me greatly, so I thank you for that. If you'd like to see more and support me more, subscribe, because that supports me by giving me views, and subscription also does help me along YouTube's algorithm. Other than that, please comment if you want to talk about something or say something to me. I read my comments, it's how I get my suggestions. Leave a like and have a great day. Thank you for watching. Leave a like.